All right, so I just want to review really quickly what we did last Friday. Okay, so Friday was all about mass and weight in the imperial system. So we would focus on converting right here 54 ounces to ounces and pounds. Okay, so what we would do is we would make it into a fraction of 54 over 16. That's the first step. If you don't have that written down, you should write it down right now. Okay. And so what you're doing then is you're going to turn it into a mixed fraction. So you're going from an improper fraction out of 16, and you're converting it to a mixed fraction using all your mixed fraction skills. So you're trying to figure out, number one, what's the mixed number? Which is how many whole groups of 16s, okay, how many whole groups of 16s are up front. That number in front equals your pounds. Yes. You're supposed to be writing this down. Okay. The number up top are the remaining ounces. Okay, that's what we did Friday for homework on assignment 3. Reviewing assignment 3, Tosh. Good, reviewing it. The number up, and this blue, okay, the whole number of pounds will go on this line. The remaining pieces, the remaining ounces, that goes on that line. Okay. This is very, very similar to what we did with inches and feet. Right, Michaela? But if we have 65 inches, we turn into a fraction of 65 over 12. So we're finding here how many whole feet? Well, there's 5 groups of 12, which equals 60. Okay. That goes there for the whole number of feet, 5 whole feet. And then we do a subtraction. We take away 5 groups of 12, which means we're taking away 60. That's the leftover inches that goes in that line there. So the ounces and pounds are similar to the feet and inches. Okay. If you treat it as an improper fraction and converting to a mixed fraction, these are quite simplistic if you can do those fraction skills. Okay. Questions, comments, or concerns? You could do it on a calculators. Actually, will do it for you if you have an ABC button. If you type in 648 ABC 16, you're telling it this is the fraction. And when you press the equals button, it will automatically turn it into a mixed fraction. It'll look something like this, though. 3, weird line, 4, weird line, 16. This tells you 3 pounds, 4 ounces. Okay. However, the trick part, though, really is that's going to be in lowest terms. So this will actually be 1 over 4. And you'll have to multiply by 4 to make it a fraction out of 16. So there's a little trick with the calculator in that sense. Okay. So that's what we looked at on Friday. Today what we're going to look at is just looking at tons as well. Now with tons, you got to be careful because there's 2 types. Okay. So there is the metric tons. T-O-N-N-E-S. Write that down. This is, turn the page over. Write this down. At the very top, metric tons. T-O-N-N-E-S. Metric tons, the symbol is a T. The symbol for the metric tons is a T. You know, that's different than the imperial ton. So 1 ton without the N-E-S, that's 2,000 pounds, and its symbol is TN. So you got to know the difference in which one we're talking about. Now, the metric ton, 1 tons, is 1,000 kilograms. Okay. When you're dealing with trucking and shipping, you deal with this a lot. And that's so you don't kill yourself. Your brakes can only hold so much weight. If you're overweight, you will have a serious accident on the Coquihalla Highway or anywhere in town for that matter. Okay. And then you'll be criminally responsible for other people's deaths if they die. because you just couldn't do math. Okay. Questions? So we looked at ounces and pounds. You can write this down as well. This is the metric. Okay. Metric is 1 ton with an NES, and its symbol is just a simple T. The imperial is 1 ton with a TN symbol, and it's 2,000 pounds. Okay. Write it down again. Put a square box around it, decorate it, maybe a puffy cloud. Write it down and decorate it. Write it down, decorate it. Write it down, decorate it. Okay. Our focus won't be on the metric, but I find that this is easier for tomorrow's lesson if I actually talk about it first. Okay. So, with the imperial ton, here's a classic example. You're driving a truck. Okay. On the truck, the cab or the semi-truck, the part that makes the trailer move or pulls the trailer, often they call it a tractor trailer. It's like a tractor, kind of weird, I know. It's 8.7 tons, very heavy. And you know that because the company has to tell you that by law. And the trailer is 6.4 tons. And you know that because they have to tell you that by law. You have to know that information. It's in the owner's manual. And you'll actually write it in your notebook. You'll keep that handy. Okay? When you load the truck up, you have to drive over one of those scales. Okay? On the scale, it says that everything, the gross weight of the whole truck, so both parts, and the cargo is 21.3 tons. 21.3 tons. The question is, what is the weight of the load in tons and in pounds? And the reason why you need to know both is because you'll report differently for different items. Right? You might say when the police stop you, you'll give it in tons. They may ask you in pounds. You have to know both. Okay? Is it a small truck or a big truck? That kind of thing too. So that's why we're working on this stuff. So what we do is, first of all, we add up both of the vehicle weights. So the cab plus the trailer, we add those together. Cab plus the trailer, and together it's a total of 15.2 tons. So that's the weight of the truck and the trailer together, 15.2 tons. Now, if you're overweight, not only will your brakes fail, but you'll also be denting the road. Sometimes when you're traveling on the highway, you can actually feel the road grips you. That's because there's a little divots there from the trailers and the trucks. That's why they're constantly repaving the highway a lot too. Okay. So what we have to do then to figure out the weight of the loads, we have to do a subtraction. We know our total. Okay, we know the total. We have to take away one part of the total, and then that will equal the other part that we're trying to find. Okay, so it's indirect measurement. So for this one, the weight of the load, you'll take the total weight from the scale, okay, the total weight from the scale, and you'll take away what you know is the weight of the truck. And you have to know that. Okay, so you'll take this away. So when you do that, you get 6.2 tons. That is the weight of the load. Okay, that's what you got sitting on the trailer. Now it works the other way as well. If you know the weight of the load, you'll have the two parts, the truck plus the load, will equal your total. Okay? So the truck components, trailer and the truck, plus your load that you're hauling, will equal to your gross vehicle, your total weight. Okay? And you'll often see this truck weight stamped on the door. If you're driving down the highway, you'll actually see that stamped on the door of the trucks. And I believe it's by law they have to have that posted there, so that then the people on the side of the highway can see and do calculations, make sure they're not overload, right? Yeah, it is. Well, yeah. So yeah, you'll totally know. Yeah, it's by law. You have to have it down there. Yeah. That's probably the number one cause. Well, not the number one cause, but those ones cause the serious accidents, right? When the truck loses the brakes, completely out of control, and so much weight there, scary. Okay, good. So what we want to do now is we want to figure out how many pounds is that. Right? That's what we have to figure out. So we're going to take our 6.2 tons and we're going to multiply it by our conversion factor. Now we want to find pounds. So what part of the conversion factor has to go on top? The 1 ton part or the 2,000 pounds part? So, since we're trying to find pounds, it must go on top of our conversion factor. That means tons has to go on the bottom, and that allows us to cancel out the tons. Okay? So now we put in the proper numbers. The conversion factor is 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. So we have 2,000 on top, 1 on the bottom, and so then we go and multiply. Just like you see it, 6.2 times 2,000 divided by 1, 12,400 pounds. Okay. So this is a common classic question that you'll need to know how to do. Okay. Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. So assignment number 4. If you want to above 70%, you need to show your work. Okay? If you're happy with just 70%, if everything's correct, then you can just use Google, but the maximum you can get is 70%. And 70, you're fine. You're like, I struggle with math. I don't know how to do this, or I don't want to. Right? Well, stamp, don't want to show my work. That's fine. No problem. I don't care. You stamp your feet all you want. Doesn't matter to me. What a good student does, though, is a good student does this. Okay? A good student is going to show your work and then use Google to do what? Check, right? And I'm all cool with that. I think that's a great idea. In your adult life, when you're doing this for your job, you're totally just going to use Google. But it is important to check things out and make sure you're doing them properly. So you don't get like weird numbers and think those are normal numbers. Okay? That's really why we're showing our work. Okay? These ones here, letter C, it's a 2-step conversion. So you have to convert tons to pounds, pounds to ounces. For D, 2 steps, ounces to pounds, pounds to ounces. So pounds to tons. Okay? Any questions there? Here, you have to convert one item, and then you have to add up some others, and then compare, see which one's bigger. Okay? Here, you have to convert to pounds. This one's just like our example. Okay? Question 3 is like our example. Okay? There's one thing with number 3. To be safe, like you're talking about a maximum load. So when you're figuring out how many things you can carry, you want to carry less. If you round up at all, you're going to be overweight, and then the brakes won't work. So for these types of questions, okay, write this down. To be safe, round down, no matter what, right? To be safe, round down. You don't want to round up and be overweight, okay? To be safe, round down. Wait. There you go. All right. Any questions here? Now, this one here is 2.8 tons of concrete in the foundations of 6 houses. It's not for each house. It's a total. Okay, so be careful with that one. At the very end here, so you got 6 questions. You want to do the unit quiz. So if you're all caught up, then you're doing the quiz and marking it. Probably about 7, 8 of you will get done the quiz and mark it. Others need to catch up a little bit before you do your quiz because you're not ready. You have to have all your work done, right? Then you're ready for the quiz. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, pitter patter.